Alright guys, Shaun here again. So today we're going to be making naan, but not just any type of naan. We're going to be actually infusing Chadon Beni and garlic into it. So you all would have seen us make bus up shot, dal puri, sada, so why not naan, right? So the first thing we're going to do is let our yeast bloom in some warm water and some brown sugar, because the yeast will feed on the sugar and just multiply and multiply and multiply and expand. But as a bonus, what I want to do is infuse the Chadon Beni and the garlic in two ways. The first thing I'm going to do is infuse it in the warm water, and then later on we're going to mix Chadon Beni and garlic into the actual dough. So to do that, I need to crush and cut up about a tablespoon of garlic. So the reason I'm crushing it is to help release the oils. See all the liquid that was released onto the board? That's the natural oils in the garlic. So I want to cut this up as small as I can. So hopefully once we add this into the warm water, the natural oils and the natural flavors of the garlic will steep in the water and carry out throughout the naan. Some of our Chadon Beni. And I want to cut this up as small as possible, just to help with even distribution and also so that it wouldn't really break up the protein strands in the dough. So I'm going to add this into our water. And to that, we're adding in our brown sugar. Let's give that a good mix. Now this is warm water. You don't want to use hot water, as hot water can potentially kill the yeast. And today we're using SAF instant yeast. So we're going in with 2 1/4 teaspoons. Alright, and I want to give this a good mix. Let's evenly incorporate, help dissolve the sugar. What I'm going to do is just cover and set this aside for 10 minutes to let the yeast naturally bloom. Alright, so we're just continuing to cut up some more garlic and Chadon Beni here while our liquid mixture is blooming. Yeah, so we just want to cut this up as fine and as evenly as possible, just so that it doesn't break up too much of the protein within the naan. And also we're also doing some to use a little later with some melted butter to brush on the naan when it comes off the tower. Yeah, so I know a lot of you all ask us, like where we get our knives, where we get some of our bowls and our spatulas and things. So all are available on our Amazon store. Just click the link in the description of this video and in our bio. All right, so 10 minutes has passed. So if I could just come in here and show a little froth on top, and if you could catch it from the side too, you should be able to see the increase in volume. Let me turn it around. Yeah, you should be able to see the increase in volume. I wish you all could smell it. And bring our bowl of sifted Roti and Doubles Flour from Lion. Yeah, so of course sift to remove all lumps, and because we're making naan, why not use Roti and Doubles flour, specially formulated for Roti and Doubles. And roti is a form of a flatbread, same as naan. So let's try it and see how it comes out. So to that, we're going to be adding some salt. Give that a mix before we add anything else. Make a little hole in the middle. Soya bean oil. Tablespoon. Right, next we're going in with some plain yogurt. Now, this and naan is a must. Some people choose not to make it with the yogurt. Some people add eggs, but this is a traditional ingredient. So we're going to be using plain yogurt. Of course, we're going in with our finely chopped Chadon Beni and garlic. So I'm going to just give this a mix before we add in our liquid mixture. You want to try and evenly distribute the garlic and Chadon Beni as best as you can. It's amazing. Right, so now we're going in with our liquid mixture. So it's always wise to add a little at a time. So I'm aiming for a soft, smooth ball of dough. If you're making, for instance, like pita bread, you would want to need something a lot stiffer, because that tends to be a lot, not drier, but stiffer and a lot more tougher end product. But tougher in a good way, not in a bad way. So just using the ball of dough just to clean my bowl as I go, collecting any dry ingredients. And you can see all little bits of Chadon Beni. Now a big thing whenever kneading flour or mixing or adding moisture to flour is you always want to take into consideration the temperature of all your ingredients and the ambient temperature. Why I say that is, here's a classic example. So I still have liquid here, but this doesn't need any liquid. So we are in Trinidad and Tobago, a tropical country. It's hot. All the ingredients are at room temperature. As a safety precaution, when you're adding your moisture, you just add a little at a time. Remember, you could always add, but it's a lot more difficult to take out because you don't want to be adding more flour and more flour. So I have here some extra flour for dusting and things, just in case, just as a precautionary measure, but there's no need for me to use it. So just going to continue to knead this in, and what we mean by kneading is you're just taking the sides and you're just bringing it into the center and folding it over. Bringing it into the center, folding it over. Once you do that, you just rotate 90 degrees, repeat the process. Repeat the process. Yeah, so just going to continue to do this for about 8 to 10 minutes. And then what I want to do is grease your bowl, cover, and allow this to rest for an hour where it should easily double in size. All right, so our dough is pretty much finished kneading. How do I know that? It's giving me a consistent, smooth, and shiny texture. Now, of course, the Chadon Beni and the garlic is breaking up the dough a little bit, so it's not going to be as smooth as it would be if it did not have the Chadon Beni and garlic in it. So I am compensating for that when I say it's giving me a smooth and shiny texture. And just drop if so much in. Just coat the top of the naan, flip it over, coat the sides. Right, and now what I'm gonna do, you could use a warm damp cloth or cling or even an actual cover for your bowl, and you wanna let this rest for about an hour or until it doubles in size. Okay, and while that is resting, we're gonna take the remainder of our Chadon Beni and garlic and steep it in some butter. This is what we're gonna be brushing onto the naan after it comes off of the tower. All right, so here we have our melted butter that's boiling. So what we're gonna do now, well, actually just gonna switch it off and we're gonna add in our Chadon Beni and garlic. And what we wanna do, we just wanna give that a little mix. And then we're gonna cover. So why did I switch off the heat? So all we wanna do here is steep, just like if you're making tea at home, you just wanna steep the Chadon Beni and the garlic in the butter. You don't wanna cook the Chadon Beni and garlic in the butter. All you want is for the Chadon Beni and garlic to infuse its flavors into the butter. We're not trying to cook the Chadon Beni and garlic, and more importantly, we do not want to burn the butter or, even worse, separate the butter. Yeah, so we're just gonna give this a mix, cover it, and let that steep. Right, so 1 hour has passed. Our naan dough has more than doubled in size. So what we're gonna do now is divide it into 8 equal or as equal as possible pieces. Transfer it to our cutting board here, shaft it, round it, or shape it into nice smooth balls, and then using the same cling, just cover it and let it rest for about 5 to 10 minutes. The reason for the additional rest time is to once again allow the natural proteins in the flour to relax before we go on the tower. So I want 8 equal pieces. So I'm just gonna roughly divide each half into 4. before. I'm just using my hands, or you could use the counter. Right, so in an instance like this, I'll just get some oil and just lightly grease the counter and my hands. Yeah, just to make work a lot easier. Right, so you see how that little oil helps? It's no big deal if your dough balls aren't 100% even. So as you can see here, I'm just tucking in my fingers, almost like a crab, and just rolling it around. What that does is it tucks in the sides underneath. I'll just do it in a slow way for you. And if you want, you could also do this on the counter as well. Just gonna take same cling, just so we're not wasting anything, and just cover and let this sit for, as I said, 5 to 10 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes has passed, so now it's time to roll out our naan layers on a floured surface and then transfer to our tower. This tower needs to be extremely hot, almost screaming, smoking hot, because this is a very fast cooking process, and traditionally you want the naan to have that slight char on it. Carefully pick up. So to help keep a clean scene, I just have my flour in a bowl so it doesn't go all over the place, and because I want to lightly flour this, transfer it to my counter, take some flour and just dust my rolling pin, and then from here I just want to give it a light roll, and we're going directly on the tower. During this time, this is a nice little trick you could use this time when you place your naan on your tower or your dal puri, your sada, to shape it and help give it that nice round look. Here's an easy way to tell if your naan is ready to turn. I'll just ask Red to come in as close as he could. So if you look at the edges of the naan, you could see how it's starting to get color already and starting to creep up the sides of the naan, and also you could see the smoke rising off of the tower. So, and also, right, so you see how easy this lifts off of the tower? If that side wasn't fully cooked, it would not easily separate from the tower. A clear example of why you want your tower to be extremely hot, to give you that classic char. You know, it's not burnt, but a nice little char, some dark brown edges. Yeah, and you really don't have to play around with this too much. I could turn it. You really don't have to. And again, I mean, I wish you all could smell the garlic and Chadon Beni coming through. Let me show you our butter that our Chadon Beni and garlic was steeped in. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just using my brush, and I'm just going to lightly just brush the top. You know, you could get some of the garlic and Chadon Beni pieces. And just lightly just brush it up. Alright, so the naan is finished, and I just thought it best to just bring mommy in one time to taste it. So mommy, what we did, we made a Chadon Beni and garlic naan. I let the yeast bloom in warm water, but I just took advantage of the warm water and I infused some of the Chadon Beni and garlic in it. Then I added more Chadon Beni and garlic to the dough itself, and then when it finished, as it came off the tower, we just brushed it with a little Chadon Beni and garlic infused butter. So, John, nice and soft for this. Here you go. You get a piece of this.
It is soft and nice.
You get any Chadon Beni and garlic? What would you eat this with?
Just so.
So you see how easy it is to make naan? Yeah, you're going to the end.
I like this one that burn up and brown and brown.
Yeah.
It's the best part.
So we were telling them
I
the
like
tower
them
have to be screaming hot.
crispy.
Because it must have that char on it. That's a must. You know, some people might say it's burnt, but it's not burnt.
Yeah, burnt.
That
Nice.
is, it must have that char on it. Alright guys, so thanks again for watching, and don't forget you can always support us by getting our merch. Link will be in the description of the video, and also check out all of the little gadgets we use in the kitchen in our Amazon storefront, also linked in the description. Yeah, thanks guys, bye.